All right, welcome everybody. This is CBSI Presents Tales from the Flip Side number 15. I'm Dino, and boys, introduce yourselves.
It's Ben S, and watching an infant at 42 is a little bit different than watching them at 32.
This is John Z on his regularly scheduled night as opposed to normal, and I have no idea what Stein's talking about.
This is Scott, and I still have a boner from Game of Thrones.
This is Brian. Back from Vegas, and my brain is fried and my liver is toast, but I'm glad to be back with the guys.
All right, this is
Welcome back, Brian.
Yeah. All right, boys. The one of the most important topics ever to be discussed on the flip side, Mr. Sean Leggett's charity Raz on the main page going on right now. So as you guys can see on the Google Plus page, Sean's friends going through a rough time. I won't get into too many details, I guess. But so we're doing some donations right now. I donated a Lumberjanes 14, Brooke Allen signed and sketched 9.8 CBCS for donations, and I saw that Drew Lewan picked up some good books.
Yeah, he had some high-end variants.
Yep. What else do we had out there, boys?
Yeah, there was a. Oh, go ahead.
I think there's Batman 655 variant, right?
Yep.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, New Teen Titans number 2, first Deathstroke 9.6. 7-2 Eternity. 7-2 Eternity number 1 9.8. I saw the new Michael Turner Aspen, the Supergirl cover from SDCC was on there.
Nice.
Matt King donated a Malibu Sun 13.
Oh yeah, for Spawn.
Yeah, that's a nice book.
There's the autograph Spawns that were donated by
Sean, right?
No, by the parents.
By the parents, yes.
Yep.
For those
we're just gonna get Ben.
I was just gonna say, for those who don't really know what a Raz is, Scott, what you want to tell them what it's like or what it is?
It's just basically like a raffle. We're normal Razes have a finite number of spots, but when we do a charity Raz, we run it until a certain time frame. So basically, you claim as many spots as you want, and then we'll run all the names through a randomizer, and then pick out the winners from there. Usually, with the charity one, people, whoever's first would get to pick whatever prize they want, and then we just go down the line.
Yep. And then I also want to, I guess, comment too, is that you don't have to be in a Raz to donate. If you just want to donate out of goodness of your heart, we always accept donations on that behalf as well. So,
and you also don't have to be part of this because it's on the main page. You do not have to be part of the Raz group.
Correct. That is correct.
And all the money will be going to the GoFundMe account.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, and just a little background. This is just to help out a family in need. Tragic circumstances of 2 young people that died in a plane crash. One was a member of law enforcement, one was a member of military, and just trying to help the family out through this rough time. So, we appreciate anything you guys can do to help out. We've got plenty of people that were kind enough to donate some books to this, and I believe tomorrow morning the raffle will go live with $5 slots. You purchase a slot, you get a chance to win. It'll all get sent to a PayPal, and then proof will be sent that it went to the GoFundMe page. So, get out there and kind of put something back for a good cause. Any money you've kind of made off of tips or help, or somebody's done you a solid, this is your chance to kind of repay it forward.
And then people who listen who are actually on the website, it's on the G Plus page. So if you search, I think it's like comic book speculation and invest, you should see the main page. So you just join that on Google Plus, and then you can get a chance to donate there. So cool, good stuff. So appreciate everybody who donated. So just says a lot about
Yeah,
our
a
group.
lot of good,
So,
a lot of good donations out there.
yeah, I mean, it's it's not like $5-10 books. I mean, those are good too, but I mean, you got some big books too. So
Yeah, lots of $100 books on there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you beyond doing a good cause, you got a chance to win some nice books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, multiple chances.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know if Sean's decided if it's one winner or multiple spots can win multiple books. So I will have to kind of clarify that on the post tomorrow. But either way, you got a shot at some nice books.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, so I've dubbed this the Brian Wood episode because number 3 on our outline here is DEF CON, the Brian Wood extravaganza. So
Right. So I went to 2 conferences. I went to first there was Black Hat, which was started last Friday the 21st, and it started Saturday. And Black Hat leads up to DEF CON. So Black Hat first 4 days you're there was basically training. So you're in a class from 9 in the morning to 6 in the evening. You get lunch breaks and stuff like that, and then from there after the training you go into the actual conference, which the keynote for it was pretty cool. Is by Alex Stamos, who's the chief security officer for Facebook.
Is he related to John Stamos?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know.
Sorry, I had to do it.
From there, though, you break into. They have briefs, and there's like 80-something briefs over 2 days. So it's think of it almost like Comic-Con, where the panel's going on at the same time, and you got to decide which ones you're going to go to, and there's a line for them.
Do you want to kind of just talk about what Black Hat is in case people don't understand what like Black Hat
Sure.
and White Hat?
So there's 2 conferences. One's Black Hat and one's DEF CON. They both started by the same person. Goes by Dark Tangent. Black Hat he created after DEF CON because he wanted to get more of like cybersecurity professionals, where DEF CON was more like, I don't want to say Wild West, but kind of like the Wild West. So he created Black Hat, and they charged more money. That got actually, I guess the first Black Hat he had, he didn't really have anyone to speak, so he was getting a bunch of friends to speak for him. And it just grew. This was the 20th one. So anyone in a lot of IT cyber security professionals attend this. It's expensive compared to DEF CON, but it's well worth the training. And I mean, think of it as an upscale DEF CON. I mean, you got catered food provided for you. It's a little bit more professional is not the right word, but I guess you could say it's just more upscale than DEF CON. But I really enjoyed it. Those 4 days of training, I took a Kali Linux penetration testing class, which was basically your hacker toolbox for penetration testing. So I was in that for 4 days, and then I attended a bunch of briefs the following 2 days. And then right from there, you move right over into DEF CON, which DEF CON to me is they have a lot of good briefs, but the good thing about DEF CON is what they call the villages, which is your actual demos where you actually get to do hands-on, like the voting machine hacking. There's a packet capture village where you're sitting there sniffing people's traffic over the Wi-Fi, getting their passwords, their user accounts, and they have what they call a wall of sheep there. And they just display all the stuff people are capturing on this wall of sheep. So you can sit there and walk by and you can see possibly your username or your password. And then, I mean, the thing is like my mind is still clustered because
that's creepy.
Yeah, that scares me.
It's unnerving.
Yeah, but they tell you, I mean, hey, there's a secure Wi-Fi that you can sit there and get a username and password to join, or you can use the free open Wi-Fi through DEF CON, but you know.
Yeah, I'm going to trust that secure one. Yeah.
Right. Right. Well, I took a burner phone for DEF CON. So I just.
Yeah, that was the best. I love that.
Flip phone special.
Yeah, I took a flip phone special, and then like the people
That's
I was
what you
with.
told your wife.
Yeah. The people I was with, we used an encrypted messenger app on our regular phones, and we just use cell signal rather than using Wi-Fi. It's kind of use at your own risk. Do what you're comfortable with. There's
Brian,
some people there that were on Wi-Fi doing everything.
Brian, I would have brought AOL CDs.
Yeah.
Get some hours, plug it in, good to go.
Yeah. So like I was really scared also at first to use, even just because the Black Hat conference was at Mandalay Bay, and the DEF CON conference was at Caesars, and they put us up at the Luxor, which is right connected to Mandalay Bay. And I was even nervous to use Luxor's Wi-Fi because of everyone that's staying in there that's going to those conferences.
They're all just playing, having
Right.
fun.
So especially like those first 4 days in classes. I mean, they had, I think, 90 different classes, and it ranged from everything from social engineering to penetration testing to, everything, machine learning, hacking
Now-
hardware.
Penetration testing isn't what I think it is it?
No. So penetration testing is basically a company will say, hey, then they'll hire penetration testers and basically say, hack my system and see where I'm vulnerable.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, you're basically what they call like white hat hacker, where you're ethically hacking. So, and they'll either give you some information and no information, and then you just sit there and go at it. And there's a, you define a scope. Okay, what am I trying to gain access to? What's out of scope? And then basically you spend whatever the defined time limit over trying to penetrate their system and exploit any of their vulnerabilities.
And usually, don't you win prizes, Brian? Because I thought I saw a documentary on DEF CON, and maybe it was like 4 years ago or something. It was on Netflix, I think, too. And
Right.
don't you win like you have like a finite time limit? And like I saw one, I think it was like somebody trying to like unlock like a lock or something on a door through computer hacking.
They actually, I didn't participate in this one, but they had a car hacking village, and I people that won it, I think, actually won a freaking truck.
Oh, nice.
So, like I said, it's both of those conferences are awesome, but I hate to speak in IT terms, but I was buffer overflowed by the time the week was over because I could not retain. It got to a point where I just sat in a conference and didn't even pay attention because I didn't feel like hearing any more information.
Yeah, I mean, and you got to think too. It's amazing the amount of technology. Like people don't understand. Like I think the general public only uses what 1% of the internet, probably, Brian. I mean, people don't understand like the amount of hacking that goes on a daily basis. I mean,
and not only that, but I mean, the way stuff's set up nowadays, I don't know if you've heard of the term called script kiddie, where they have GUI interfaces. I mean, you almost really don't even need to know what you're doing. Just know an IP address, a target, and then a GUI interface of Metasploit. And I mean, you can sit there and YouTube and sit there and compromise people's systems. I mean, depending on what it is. I mean,
like the voting machine. Like we got an article here from Wired that has the vote machine hacking, and I mean, basically that's what they said. I mean, as long as you know Metasploit, and you can hack a voting machine pretty easily without about an hour of learning, probably.
Right. It took like. I actually participated. That was one village I did participate in, and it was actually pretty cool because it took me. I'm by no means. I'm like, I would say I'm just above a script kiddie as far as my hacking ability or whatever technical ability goes. But it took me about a little over an hour to gain access, and by gain access, I mean I was able to get a reverse command shell, basically. The machine I was on ended up being an old unpatched Windows XP box. And I was able to find an exploit, use Metasploit to find exploit vulnerability that I could use, and was able to use that, create some shell code, put it against it, and then get a reverse command shell back. And reverse command shell is basically a command line prop from that computer where you can have command line access to that box.
Correct. And the 65-year-old people who are running the voting centers have no idea what you just said. So, I mean.
Right. So, and then, I mean, there's different ways to look at it, right? Because you got to look at it the way I was in it was, here's some voting machines. You're not in a voting environment. It's there for you to hack and see if you can gain access to. So, it's not the same environment as, well, I'm going to vote in this election. I'm just going to hack the freaking box while I'm there. There's a lot of
you're not gonna have an hour,
right? I mean, someone that's going to do it. I'm not saying, hey, it can definitely be done, but they're going to be what they call reconnaissance or information gathering, because you got to know what type of voting machines are going to be using, what exploits are going to be available, because you're not going to have but a confined time limit to get in, get out, do what you need to do.
Now, I wouldn't say I'm a computer hacker by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it's fun. But you gotta think, Brian, like people like this. So I think about this, right? So it's like, how well is security at a voting center? Not really. I mean, you could walk in and walk out and really not get bothered too much. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Right.
you could walk into the gymnasium and not get in line, but just walk around. And I'm sure, maybe somebody might ask you a question if you're there for an hour, but I mean, it could happen. I mean, I'm not saying it couldn't, but. And who knows?
Right.
You could be in a parking lot, as long as you could vote, get all the information, and then go in a parking lot and get on LTE and do it,
Right. And there was some that they had weak wireless encryption, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can sit there and do what they call ward driving. If there's weak wireless encryption, you might be able to possibly sit in that parking lot and pick up that weak wireless signature and be able to crack that weak encryption at that point and then gain access.
Correct, because you think, we're all the voting centers usually at schools, right? So I'm sure schools have Wi-Fi, right? You would assume. So yeah, it's very interesting. But
you guys are scaring the shit out of me.
Well, I want to make it clear that I was already fogged with information. I went into this village. I was shown, I was given which box I was going to. So I was only paying attention to what was in front of me. A lot of the information, I was sitting right there at the time. But I didn't even realize half the information until I saw the articles coming out myself, because you're just so fogged over. It was my first time going also, so I didn't know what to expect. So I think, as it's like any time, like a Comic-Con, once you're used to going to it, you kind of know, okay, your plan of attack and what you're going to do. So here I was like, I'm going to go attend this, and I just got in where I can.
Yeah.
But it was a good time. I'm supposed to brief my employers either tomorrow or I'm hoping next Monday on going to Black Hat and DEF CON and then how it benefits us, and then basically try to make the case to where they'll send me again. So
who would it benefit? If somebody's out there and wondering if they can get their employer to pay, what are they going to say?
If you're going to go to DEF CON's fairly cheap, right? DEF CON's $260. So if you're in some type of IT or some type of cybersecurity and you're kind of lower level, a little bit above entry, as long as you have some technical skill, have them send you to DEF CON because you get to learn a lot of cool hands-on stuff. If you Black Hat, if you go in there and you don't know really anything about what you're going to be attending or going to, you're gonna drown because it's like drinking from a fire hose. I went to that Kali Linux class, and it's from, if they say starts at 9 and ends at 6, you start at 9 o'clock. They got you going, and you're sitting there. It was cool because we exploited a mail server. We were able to buffer overflow a mail server, get a command line, access that mail server, escalate privileges, and then pivot across. It was all test network, and
Correct.
We did a bunch of cool exercises like that, and even when we were there, offensive security taught the class. I know that this is kind of out of the scope of this whole demographic, but offensive security taught the class, and they're the ones that developed this Kali Linux. And they found a movie theater website while we were there that you could inject SQL code into, and you could also write a short loop where you could sit there and gain access to everyone's gift card in that movie theater and their balances, and basically take all their information and use it to buy movie tickets.
What?
We didn't do it because it wasn't in the scope of the class, but
I'm throwing my smartphone away.
I know. I'm getting all my money out in cash only.
Yep, under the mattress.
well, yeah, I think a lot of those, most bank apps now have they should be encrypted, right?
Correct.
The biggest takeaway for security is always make sure you have the latest security patches, and then just, I don't want to say common sense because common sense kind of goes up, but it's not, everyone's exploitable being hacked. And it's just not when, right? It's just, when is it going to happen to you?
Correct.
Don't make it easy is what you're saying.
There's no foolproof protection. There's always, because usually the hackers are always ahead of the security for it, because there's 0 days out there that we don't even know about, which is a 0-day vulnerability is a vulnerability that there's no patch for, right? And there's out there, and hackers have all those finding 0-day vulnerabilities, and there's reward systems out there where if you bring a 0-day to like the person, there's up to, I know Facebook offers huge amounts of money for 0-day rewards, but some of them, I mean, depending on what your intent is, they'll keep it to themselves and use it.
How about that guy they arrested?
Right. So yeah, I wasn't there for that, by the way, because that was Wednesday. I was already home. What's his freaking name? Munchkin or?
Yeah, didn't he found a vulnerability and told the company about it, and they pressed charges on him?
Well, yeah, but it wasn't for that, right? They helped them with that. Was it the ransomware that just happened, right? Was it the WannaCry?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So they helped them with that, and then, but he had also created another malware for what was it, banking?
Yes, for banking.
So,
do they go over stuff like as far as like penalties and stuff? I mean, because I'm not Dino or you that can get in. I don't even, half the stuff I don't even know what you're talking about. But it's like the amount of money that this stuff costs everybody, and it seems like the lack of punishment for people that actually get caught doing this stuff. Do they ever talk about like, increasing penalties for these people, for these hackers that are doing this stuff?
I kind of wish Devo was here, because one of the whenever you go into like, especially the easiest stuff to talk about for to show you how dangerous this is they always want the first one. They always talk about Target, right? How their point of sale system got hacked a few years ago from accessing through an HVAC employee's access.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one, especially they talked about this past weekend during Stamos's keynote, was the big Sony hack from 3 years ago or whatever it was.
When they got the movies,
right? And all the email,
emails, yeah.
It was all out on WikiLeaks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about, I mean, I take it for the value since the guy was saying it, but they're saying that Sony's security officer at the time was saying it's not worth spending this much money to protect something that they don't think is, as vulnerable, or it wasn't worth spending the amount of money to protect something than what it cost or what they thought it was worth. But it turns out when they wherever they attacked, they were able to pivot and get all those emails. I think they lost, I want to say something that was like $80 million or something like that. They lost. It might probably be more.
And the bigger thing too is like when it comes to hacking or stuff like that, like Kim.com is like a huge, what do you say, like tech giant, I guess. And like coming into the penalties section, it's like, he's frozen assets. I mean, the guy has like millions of dollars and billions of dollars, and he has like cars and a big old house. But I mean, he was facing what would like serious jail time. I mean, let alone frozen all his assets and everything else. I mean, so the penalties are huge if you do get caught. I mean,
but it's not. But it's not even just the these massive one. I mean, it's just even just you just think about your basic, like phishing emails and stuff that just bog everybody's systems down, and and I don't know. I mean, I think these people. I mean, personally, I just think that they're costing everybody just huge across the world. I mean, they're costing everybody so much money that we just don't even realize. And, I don't know why they're just allowed to just keep doing what they do.
Well, I mean, the FBI launched, like, I know in like 2016, I don't know, I think they finally caught him. He's like I know one dude in Florida, maybe one dude in California, like the top 10 worst spammers, because there's guys out there who do that stuff. But I mean, I think one guy hit with like you can get like 20 years, I think.
I think with the spamming, they start hitting you with like how many people you hit.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you like reach certain benchmarks, and like it bumps up the sentence.
Yeah, I mean, you could do like millions and millions of dollars. I mean, depending on how many times you're going to spam and who you're sending out to. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, like this one in 2016, they're saying like a federal judge agreed with AOL for somebody who was spamming off AOL or something, mass mailings, and he was paid $490 in restitution and $54,000 in damages. I mean, people don't, crazy, but Oh no, that's a. It seems
why
like a
you
good time. I
Well,
like to
you
go
got to
to
stay
DEF.
low tech, off
Yeah.
the grid.
Minus the tech stuff. There's some. I mean, it's fun. I mean, if you're like a cyber nerd, you're sitting there getting your little cyber boner and everything. There's some really cool stuff. Especially what I did like better about DEF CON was, like I said, the villages where you get to go in there and actually do some of the stuff and see it take place. Where Black Hat, you do the training, and then there's a lot of briefs with demos, but you don't see it like live. So there's like, oh, a lot of good information. Big thing is everyone's talking about Internet of Things, which is printers, webcams, surveillance cameras,
Yeah.
all that stuff, and how they're hacking that. And
I love
you know,
that when they like a Comcast has the thing. Oh yeah, we can hook up your house to the system and you could watch it from your phone and this and that. And I'm like, no fucking way,
yeah,
no way. Or
But-
I read an article that they were hacking the Nest thermostats.
yeah. So there's a website out there where you can go and look at a whole bunch of Internet of Things items, right? You can look at traffic cams, you can look
Oh,
at
Jesus.
printers, you can look at, and then you can actually look, and it shows IP addresses, and you can sit there and try to go to them. And a lot of dumb people will never change default stuff on it, so you can sit there and throw admin at it, and next thing you know, you got access to whatever that device is. But
So you can actually look through people's like their webcams and stuff like that are built into their computers. Is that like real?
yeah, I mean,
Do I need to put a piece of tape over mine right now?
it's
I have a piece of tape over mine.
yeah, but I mean, it's possible. But I'm saying, if someone would want to go through the level of effort, not it can be a lot of effort, could be a little effort, but someone would have to want to go through that level of effort to gain access to that, though, right? I mean,
and clearly too, you're gonna have that. I mean, you're gonna find bigger things out there, right, Brian? I mean, like the guy who hacked the iCloud. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like that's a bigger nest egg than somebody's random computer you don't know about or random camera you don't know about.
What about Big Brother though?
So I mean, yeah, you go ahead, Brian.
no, I will tell you something else is because I was at DEF CON and they do have a vendor area there where they sell a lot of cool gadgets. I'll just leave it at that. And they recommend you to buy with cash. Because with one guy said, I don't know how true this is or not, but I mean, it sounds believable. One guy recommended buying with cash. It was one of the guys, the volunteer staff that worked there. And he said, the vendor themselves, you don't have to worry about, but like the credit card companies like Visa and them, they have an obligation to turn over all that sales data over to the NSA.
I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that by any
So, I
stretch.
mean, I totally believe it, but trust but verify, right? But at the same time, I mean, usually stuff like that go in with cash anyways, just because of the whole, they're sliding your credit card. Screw if Visa's giving their information. What's that person doing with my credit card information also, right?
Yeah, snagged it on the way.
Well, and I can't, and then you have like, and then the other cool things are like, you have like people who can like, because we all have chips now and stuff like that, but people can like, you don't even need to put your credit card in a machine. Like people can have like little like
RFID scanners.
Yeah, RFID scanners and get your information. I mean, it's crazy the amount of technology that people can do.
So yeah, we got back and one of the guys in our group, like 3 days later, sent the little chat app we were using, said that he got notified of credit card fraud on his card, but he doesn't think it was because he didn't use it at the conferences. He used it at one of the restaurants around town, and he thinks he thought it was so and so because it took him, he had no proof, but it took him forever to come back with his card. So I mean, it's you don't want to live completely paranoid with freaking tinfoil hat on your head, which they did have a tinfoil hat competition at DEF CON, by the way. But
that's great.
So away from all the technical stuff into the actual fun stuff, right? So the best part about DEF CON is the parties. DEF CON will start, I mean, they'll have stuff going from 6 a.m. till 3 a.m. the next day, right? So you have a bunch of your talks, and talks will go all the way up to like 10 o'clock at night. Then they also have parties where a lot of these vendors, I went to one, it was a vendor, and they had the penthouse to Planet Hollywood Casino. And oh my God, I mean, it was busy, but there's so much food and so much alcohol. Freaking bowling alley in the pen. I mean, it was crazy.
I mean, it was in Vegas, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
So
any conference in Vegas is probably going to be the best.
right, and then during Black Hat, they do a lot more happy hours than parties because Black Hat always ends at 6. So then you can right from there between, especially just walking back from Mandalay Bay to Lexor. Usually, any of those restaurants within there, one of the vendors or one of the sponsors was having a happy hour, which I had to go to because, to be honest, I couldn't afford freaking food there anymore. I mean, I was getting per diem and stuff like that, and
Well, you were there for how many days? Like 10?
9 days.
Yeah, that's too long
Oh,
in
your
Vegas.
per diem ain't gonna cover shit out there.
Yeah. So breakfast is provided by Black Hat, which was like
Continental stuff.
pastry and juice.
Yeah.
The lunch,
Cereal.
yeah, the lunches were really good, and it's crazy because like I said, you start with training, and not everyone goes to training. So as the training first 2 days of training, because you could either do a 4-day training or 2 2-day trainings, and as the first 2 days ended, the second 2-day training started, and it got a little bit more crowded. And then that last day leading up to the conference, it was so crowded. I mean, it was crazy watching how much busier it got. And it's like they're herding cattle through the hallways because people just stand there with their arms out telling you where to go. And so it got really crowded. And then switching over to DEF CON, I wouldn't say panic attack, but I got so sick of dealing with crowds. And like the first day there, I walked from Luxor up to Caesars, which was a little hike in 105-degree heat.
Mm-hmm.
So I was already hot in there, and it's crowded. And I was in the swag line to look at what T-shirts they had. They have these volunteers that work there, and they call them goons. And this guy started yelling. Like, I had like boot camp flashbacks. He's like, "Get it, squeeze in, get rid of the room, don't go there, make a hole." He kept yelling. I got pissed off. I was like, "Who the fuck are you talking to?"
What was he trying to like crowd control?
Yeah, it's like they wanted you to squeeze up, squeeze up, back up. And then it wasn't like, "Hey, man, these guys are trying to get through with, people come by with merchandise and they're trying to get through so they can get to a door." And they'd like yell at you over it. And I got pissed off rather than just saying, "Hey, can you make a hole that they're trying to get through with the cart?" And then instead it was like, "Unless you want to get run over, move to the side." And I was like, "Motherfucker, I'm going to grab him by your mullet and I'm going to body slam your bitch ass."
Wonder if Goon Carl was one of the volunteers out there.
So I had to walk out and take a break, man. I took like a 2-hour break, and I went and played over in New York for a while, and then came back to some of the briefs. People are like texting me, "Where are you at?" I was like, "I'm at New York, at the blackjack table. I'll be back." But it was a good time. I mean, if you want to do fun like hacking stuff, DEF CON's definitely cool because it's fairly cheap. It's $260 for 3 days, right? It's cash only though. When you pay, they only take. Well, when you pay online, you can pay with a card, but when you get there, if you're gonna pay there, it's cash only. It's really kind of, I don't want to say underground, but it's kind of, Wild West, West, but it's well organized. Put it that way.
And I would like to do that one day. And I figure, I can't believe Vegas isn't shut down, because all the hackers. Like, I would be afraid to open business that whole week. Like, I don't even,
Nobody fucks with the casinos.
Yeah.
Well, besides that,
It's awesome just to sit there and people watch also, because you get all types of people.
Yeah, Vegas has everyone.
Yeah.
So the question is, did you win any money?
I went. Are you talking about like actually in the casino?
Yeah, tables, yeah.
I went up on blackjack. I was playing $10 table at Luxor, and then I outstayed my welcome and I went back down.
Well, you're out there 10 days. That's a long time to ride any kind of swing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and at first I wasn't. I was like, I'll do a little bit. And then the first night I wasn't ready to gamble because I was like you said, I was going to be there for a while. And then the guy was up and he started handing me chips. He's like, "Come on, man, have a seat." And I was like, "All right." And next thing you know, I'm pulling out my own freaking 20s. I was like, "Motherfucker."
Oh, it'll do it. Shit, 3 days. If you can keep hot for 3 days, you're doing good. 10 days, there's no way the house doesn't win.
But yeah, I would eat at food court and I would get 2 slices of pepperoni pizza and a Gatorade and it'd be $28.
Remember when they used to give out away food in Vegas?
Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, go to the buffets; they're cheap." I was like, "I can't find one."
The
They're cheap
buffets are
now.
like $25.
Oh,
They're
they're
cheap.
not cheap anymore.
Yeah, they're like $60 now, $50.
They're cheap. If you go downtown, they're cheap. But
Or if
Yeah,
you
they were-
walk behind the strip about 2 blocks, like
yeah,
the
You got to find yourself
east side of the strip, a few casinos down, then you can kind of get some cheap stuff.
You got to find the Vegas vacation area where they went.
Yeah,
They had like the red and the blue.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, everyone's like,
the
"Hey, yeah,
yellow
you're off
envelope.
the strip." And I was like, "Well, I'd have to Uber or walk or whatever because we had rental cars to the airport, and then we got a shuttle from the airport to the hotel, and then we were on our own until we left. And we got a shuttle to the airport, and then we got a rental at the airport when we got home and to come home."
I don't know. My experience is if you just get about 2 blocks off the strip, that's where the cheap hotels are.
I was happy just to find because the casino next door to Luxor was Excalibur, and their food court had food that I was used to with the prices I was used to, like Popeyes and Pizza Hut and Krispy Kreme and tropical smoothie, and it was $8 or $9, and I was like, "I'm staying here. I'm going here to eat."
Yeah, you got to find a spot and stick with it.
The further you get away from like the big dog hotels, the better off you are.
Yeah. But I will tell you, we went to this place in MGM Grand called Pub 1842. It's a barbecue burger joint, and I got a burger and a 32-ounce boot. It was in a glass boot draft, and it was $45, but I felt like it was almost worth it because that burger was so freaking delicious, and that beer went down good.
Did you get to keep the boot?
No. No. And I was ready to, once I finished that off, I was ready to go for the night. And I'm like, all right. And of course, everyone's like, well, we got to go back. Because anytime you go to eat, if you say you get out at 6, you go back to your hotel room to drop all your shit off, you meet downstairs at 7. By the time you get somewhere to go to eat, it's 8, and then there's a 40-minute wait. So you don't get done eating until like 10:30. And then, which could be early, right? But not when you have training at 9 o'clock the next morning, and sometimes you'd have homework in those classes. And it was like there was one person that was with us was taking a social engineering class, and she had homework. She had fun homework though, right? Especially in Vegas. So her one night she would have to go talk to 2 people and get first, last name, birthday, date of birth, some type of information, kind of like social engineer get from her. But sometimes we'd go out there and I was like, man, this is the perfect place. It's freaking Vegas. There's bachelorette parties, all types of people, drunk motherfuckers that you can get all types of information from. And then she was kind of slow, so she got mad at me because I kind of helped her out. Because I was like, hey, is it one of y'all's birthday? And they're like, it is our birthday. And I was like, oh. And I was like, there you go. Get the freaking information. She's like, no, that wasn't my process. I was like, I'm a big boy. I'm hungry. We need to go eat.
Wrap it up.
Yeah.
that's cool.
It was a good time. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I mean, I'm still not completely recovered. Just one from the trip, this whole week at work, I've been sitting there going, ugh, so like brain dead from everything. But I definitely recommend it, especially if anyone's interested in cybersecurity. It's a good time.
Cool. Very good.
And it helped me out because I used to be hands-on keyboard, like system administration and IA, like technical IA or information assurance or cyber. And lately I've been switched over to more of a policy management side. And it's fun, but you miss that keyboard action. So it was good to go to that conference.
I use Google Chrome.
And at the time, the people I was with, they're technical cyber guys. And they're like, hey, man, come over and work with us if you want. Because I was lucky to go because I was able to represent a sector from our work. And luckily, I had the some technical skills to show, hey, it'd be beneficial to me. So I went to represent our group. And at the same time, I was texting my coworker saying, hey, I might leave and go over to this other department so I can do actual penetration testing. So we'll see.
Cool. Sounds
And
cool.
it's a great place to network. I mean, you meet all types of people. I met some chick that worked at Google. But it's weird because you talk to people, but everyone's on guard, right? So, like, how much information do I want to disclose to you? How much do I want to tell you?
I tell you, Brian, I would go with I'm Nick Papa Giorgio.
Mr. Papa Giorgio.
That's right.
Anyways,
People must actually like Brian because we're at 14 people watching live.
Hey.
but it was a good time. I mean, I got some cool stories. I mean, I'm happy to talk about them another time, but especially once stuff starts to settle in, I remember shit. But it was good.
Once it gets declassified.
Right. Oh, and that's another thing, because there is some what they call sky talks there, and you go into the room and they tell you some crazy stuff, and then when you come out of the room, it's it's not posted, or I mean, it's like the ghost stories or the good stories that you want to hear. I didn't get into any of them because I mean, the first one starts at 10, and by like 7:30 in the morning, the line's backed up. So, and they let the people in, and those people don't get, because they go all day long, and each one they kick everyone out, and you have to get back to the end of the line again. And I got sick of waiting in line, so I was like, it's not worth it for me.
Now, do you have to sign NDAs and stuff?
No.
Oh, interesting.
Now, I won't say through my employer stuff that I might have had to do, right?
Oh, yeah.
But we got briefings and stuff on, hey, what you can and cannot do, what you can take, what you can't take with you, what you can't take from there. So I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, it's all crazy stuff going on there.
And then Tom on a YouTube chat said, did you start out in the help desk or go straight to system admin or networking?
So I started at help desk, right?
Okay. Yep.
I was in the Marine Corps, and I had wanted nothing to do with computers. In fact, people were coming in there at the time talking about building PCs for gaming, and I was all like 1.21 gigawatts, and what the fuck are you talking about? And then I started moving over into IT, and then when I got out of the Marine Corps, I went into government contracting, and I was implementing software that I used in the Marine Corps. And then I started going from functional, I started moving over towards more sysadmin side, and I worked the help desk for that software, and I just kind of started learning on my own. And then each job I switched, I tried to switch to where I was in a more technical job.
Cool, very cool. So no, that's good stuff, man. I'm excited. I always like that stuff. That it piques me. You know, people think it's funny because I go to like reunions or stuff, and like people who I haven't seen in a while. That's you're like into like computers and stuff. Is that what you do in your job? I'm like, no, man.
I will tell you, the best thing for IT is to cut your teeth in help desk, because that's how I become a more proficient troubleshooter. Because I can't tell you how many people are in IT that can't troubleshoot for shit.
Correct. And
it's like, well, they give you a problem, and you're like, well, what have you done so far to fix it? And they're just like,
I restarted it.
Yeah.
Hey, did you restart the computer 3 times?
Try turning it off and turning it back on again. Right.
I blew into the cartridge.
I feel like most of the IT people, that's all that did you turn it off? Okay, well, I got to send this to tier 2. Or you already did that.
Oh, no. The best part is like when an IT guy comes over and just Googles it on your desk. That's the best part. I laugh. I'm like, yeah, I Googled it already, bro.
Yeah. And Google's awesome. I mean, think about it back in the day when Google wasn't there, and you're like,
oh, I can imagine.
I was actually thinking about that the other day, because I like to just watch videos and see how things work and stuff. And I just remember, like, back in the day, like, you either had to do it yourself or, hope something's on TV, because we couldn't find shit.
I was just doing something around the house. I was just doing something around the house today. I'm like, shit, I'm going to Google it and see what the fuck somebody else said.
And not only that, like, remember how hard it was to find what you needed, like, back in the day? Like, you had to, like, hit the correct search words in order to get the actual thing you wanted.
Yeah. So, speaking of Google, there is a thing out there called Google hacking, right? And there's a bunch of databases on it, and you can Google hacking, but there's ways to sit out there, and you can use the algorithms within Google to get like certain PHP files to websites. I mean, you can sit there, and it's pretty cool. I mean, I've kind of gone over on, I think, the time limit that you guys put for this. But
no, it's all good stuff, man.
It gets exciting. I mean, you can sit there and talk about it forever, but.
Did you get a chance to hack that electronic gun?
No. So I saw it, right? I saw the brief for it, and I was like, oh, that might be interesting. But then I thought, knowing me, it's probably just going to be a brief and then like a PowerPoint demo of how they did it. Nothing actually there.
Yeah, and you can watch that YouTube video. He kind of explains it pretty much throughout the process of how he did it. I mean,
but they did have not DEF CON, but they in Vegas, you can sit there and call people up from the hotel. They'll come pick you up in a Humvee and take you right over pretty much across the street, and you sit there and shoot the shit out of like saw machine guns.
Yeah. I did that when last time I was there.
Yeah, and
I got to shoot the World War II package.
Yeah, they're gonna.
Oh yeah, that place is fun.
Yeah.
They're gonna wipe my hands for gunpowder residue when I get to the airport. And I'm gonna be fucked. But they give you like carts and shit.
Some dude was shooting an MG42 when I was there.
Yeah.
I still have a scar because I have a thumb that doesn't have much feeling in it, and I was shooting a Tommy gun, and actually, like, my hand drifted to the wrong spot, and I got like a scar that kind of burnt in from the Tommy gun.
Jeez. Yeah, those things.
I remember in boot camp, I was all excited because you get to shoot an AT-4, handheld rocket.
The rocket,
right? So sitting there and all excited. And, I was 17 at the time in boot camp, right? So you don't even think logistically the cost and everything. I'm just like, oh, I shoot the fuck out of a rocket launcher. You get up there, and they're showing you the demo for it before you get up there to shoot it, and your own back blast area all clear. And then you hit the button. It's like a fucking little red tracer bullet that just goes poof.
Oh.
You're like, fuck. And then you start thinking about it now, and you're like, well, yeah, logistically, they're not gonna spend that much money for you to shoot a fucking rocket for everyone in boot camp.
That's kind of funny. I mean, it only went like what? How much is a rocket? You think $5,000? I don't know, something crazy.
Right. But it's just funny because you got this big ass fucking thing on your shoulder, and you're sitting there yelling, getting ready to blow some shit up, and hit the button, a little red tracer. Pew,
Cool. Good stuff. So next on the topic, we got anybody who's watched Legion, I guess, or stuck with it. Season 2, they're going for original costumes and iconic locations in the Marvel Universe now. So I picked that up.
That first season was awesome.
I couldn't get in. I dipped out of it, man. It
was very weird, like almost Inception like.
Mm-hmm.
But I dug it. I really did. I thought it was very very neat.
Are you excited for this news?
Yeah, why not?
Because they're gonna go with like distinct hairstyles and unique stuff, and it's gonna be crazy, man.
It should definitely be interesting.
Let's see what else we got. We got a whole bunch of stuff here. We got X-Men Dark Phoenix castings. So the young Jean Grey by Summer Fontana and Jessica Chastain is going to be the villain. It wasn't announced what villain it's going to be, but those were two movie news things that were happening.
Who could the villain be?
I don't know. You got any guesses?
Emma Frost. I mean, she was big in the X-Men comics around that time.
Yeah, but yeah,
Hellfire Club.
I
wonder if they're going to be in it.
Interesting. Emma Frost could be. I mean, that could go good for what? What one's that? Is that 131? 131?
I think it's 131.
Is that what it is? Let's do a little dig.
It's either that or 29. Because I think 130 is Dazzler, isn't it?
I believe so. 129. Yep, 129.
129. Okay.
Good man. Yep. But Emma Frost was in she was in X-Men First Class and stuff too. I mean, you think they're gonna get rid of that girl who played Emma Frost?
They might. I'm just trying. I don't really know who was a villain back then, like in the around the 130s, 140s.
They'd have to recast her. It was that girl that was on Mad Men.
Oh, Christina Hendricks, right?
No, the other one. The blonde one.
The girl who played Emma Frost from that?
Yeah. She was on Mad Men. She played the wife on Mad Men.
Shoot. I see her picture's right here. Why can't I? I'm losing it. January Jones. There it is. Yep, January Jones. That's
JJ.
JJ. Yep.
JJ.
So, no, yeah, it'll be interesting. So, I don't know much about that Selma Fontana girl, but I mean, we all know Marvel pretty much knocks it out of the park when it comes to casting. So,
Yeah,
I'm sure she'll be decent. I mean,
I think it'll be a
That's
good
not
movie.
Marvel. That's Fox.
The X-Men movies, I think, have been pretty strong. Not great, but strong.
yeah,
I would say their casting is mediocre.
Wow.
Well,
Tell us how you really feel, man.
they're not hitting it out the park like Marvel is. I mean, they've had some wins, but some of those secondary characters are not like killing it as far as casting.
They can't afford to hire better secondary guys.
Well, you know what I mean, though. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's not. The main characters are big, and then after that, it's kind of a mixed bag. So.
and then this one's for Ben. I got this one for Ben because legendary voice over actor or actress Andrea Romano is going to retire, and she was on Stein's favorite cartoon, Animaniacs, and the original DuckTales. So,
Oh, that's such a good show.
yeah, she I guess
coming home.
Let's see,
Coming home from school every day watching Animaniacs.
And we watched it in college. Just, I mean, we get out of class and we'd all just pile around the one. We only had like one TV and on our floor.
Man, you are old. I keep forgetting. I think I'm old.
because our college years was Super Smash Brothers. Everybody just playing Super Smash Brothers on GameCube back in the day. Just
We
big
played
tournaments.
Counter-Strike.
Or GoldenEye, another one. Counter-Strike's another great one. I was playing Counter-Strike too. GoldenEye 007.
I don't remember watching many cartoons in college. I just don't think there were any great ones out.
Yeah, I think my era. What was it? Well, my era was what? Probably 8th grade, 9th grade, probably something like that.
Yeah, that's when all that like DuckTales and stuff was like that 6th, 7th, 8th grade type thing.
Yeah.
It was, you're probably a little old to be watching cartoons, but they were still enjoyable.
Yeah, and it's sad because she had to retire. I guess she has optic neuropathy in one eye, neuropathy, which causes blindness in that eye. So that's why she's wrapping up all her current projects. So that's kind of sad. But she had what did she say? 10,000 voice sessions. So I mean, she's huge. I mean, she did.
She had a good run.
Yeah, she did. Her most recent work includes Voltron Legendary Defender, and which is the 3rd season on Netflix right now in August, and Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So, and then she did some comic book work, which is Justice League Gods and Monsters, Batman vs. Robin, Batman Assault on Arkham. So,
Any of you guys ever own a Voltron?
I didn't own. Did I own a Voltron? I think I did.
A Voltron.
Like a Voltron, the toy. When you were
versions, weren't there?
What?
There were lots of versions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, did anybody own a version?
Yeah,
I recall I had a big one, but it didn't break apart, but it was like a big, I bet 2.5, 3 foot Voltron that like was on wheels. It was almost like a remote control car.
Oh wow! I had the metal one, the die cast.
Yeah, that's nice. I had a little one, a tiny one, but I never had one that like broke apart.
Yeah, this one, like when it was all together, was maybe like 12 inches, 15 inches tall. Such a cool toy.
Hey, Wood. Somebody on Instagram. You know who Modern's Music is? I guess they were at DEF CON at Caesars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
They had a bunch of like the list of all the bands and the entertainment and stuff they had. I know some bigger bands were there. Like they had like Real Big Fish and I think Pie Tasters. But like I said, man, there's so much to do. You
can tell you're old when you say those are big bands.
Well, bigger.
I've seen both of them live at one point.
Right.
So the sad news this week is Fandom Fest Comic-Con held in an abandoned Macy's. I mean, was not good, people.
So it's funny. I was I'm commuting life in Louisville.
Mhm.
I didn't even hear about this one. And Sean sent me a link like Friday night or Thursday night. I'm like, shit, I would go. But I had to work in Indianapolis both Friday and Monday. I'm like, I'm not driving down there for it.
Yep.
I kind of wish I would have went just to see this catastrophe.
I mean, the big news out of this is there was no refunds for SS opportunities, and like half of the celebs canceled because.
Well, it's not even just SS. A lot of these people just want pictures and autographs.
Oh yeah, well, I mean that too, yeah. But crazy stuff. So half the celebrities canceled because they didn't get prearranged travel from the con, or they said they didn't, and the Comic-Con people said they did it. And it was the other big thing was the people limit. So the fire marshal came in and only limited entrance to like 1,500 people, and like once 1,500 people, it's like somebody had to come back, and once somebody leaves, you can come in, kind of thing. So it's
yeah, and I think it was sold to like 20,000 plus people.
yeah.
Well, I don't know. I read a little bit more, and like John Barrowman, I think, was tweeting that he was in his hotel and nobody would come pick him up.
Yeah, I saw that.
And,
Oh, it's sad.
There were vendors just setting up in old Macy's like makeup counters, and nobody had cleaned the facility. Like the restrooms were never cleaned, and
I think the elevator. I think one elevator worked the whole way in the whole mall.
I mean,
That did look a little weird, them like setting up like on the jewelry countertops and all that.
Yeah,
Put my PVC pipe display the same. I mean, I wish I could get a jewelry box. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, you can make your wall books look good in there.
I know.
But I mean, yeah, it sounded just like a straight disaster. It makes kind of the other ones that were disasters almost feel not that bad.
Yeah, it's
like,
pretty bad when the creators aren't even like the people you paid to be there. You can't even pick them up or arrange.
Well, I mean, a lot of shows have messed up on like the guests, like the celebrities. These guys screwed over the vendors, the dealers, everyone.
Yeah, they screwed up everything.
Couldn't get in. I mean,
Didn't it say something like they didn't really even announce that it was not going to be at the convention center until like just like a couple days before?
Yeah, I think they said like that weekend or that week they announced it. I'm like, geez.
They're probably worried they were going to get cancellations.
And it wasn't like a huge guest list, but there were some decent celebrities there.
I mean,
it's supposed to be there.
Yeah, it's your normal run-of-the-mill Comic-Con people. I mean, yeah.
Was that an abandoned mall or just an abandoned Macy's?
I think it's an abandoned Macy's. I don't remember.
I thought it was an abandoned Macy's in an abandoned mall.
I'm betting it's a mostly dead mall, but not quite closed.
Yeah.
There's a mall. There's a mall probably. Yeah, there's a mall like 20 minutes from me that used to be like one of the big, like size-wise, like one of the biggest in the country. And it's basically nothing. I mean, there's nothing now, but they still have a Bass Pro Shops is still got one of their stores there, and so they actually leave the mall open. You can walk through, the mall, but I mean, it's just miles and miles of there's no stores, there's no people. It's really creepy.
Yeah, we had one like that in Pontiac.
Old people like to walk in the mall.
Yeah. No, I mean we had one in Pontiac here. It was known forever, and then it finally closed. But I couldn't see it doing well as a Comic-Con thing because it was one of the old school ones where it had this like two wings kind of and like a connecting like almost like a U. But I don't know how well that would work. They had a food court, but I mean obviously that stuff doesn't work because there's nobody there. So it just doesn't seem like a good plan, I guess. Amazon
is killing everything.
Yep.
So will those promoters, I mean, are they going to get sued for this?
They talked about having a class action.
Yeah, they're definitely going to get sued.
Yeah. And it doesn't help that the promoters actually were kind of like, they weren't handling the greatest, like, hey, we'll try to refund you. They're like, nope, we're not going to do anything for you. It's like,
how did they lose the venue?
It just seemed like
probably didn't pay their bill.
Yeah, or didn't pay on time, or or say, oh, it's in the mail, or doing something because it seems like they didn't even pay the guests on time, or they can't. It's just.
But it feels like they had pretty good ticket sales from the numbers I read.
Yeah, I mean, people support the Comic-Con. I mean, like you said, it was like 20 or 30,000 people, so there shouldn't be any reason that
you got to figure con tickets are no less than $25, $30.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking $1 million just in pre-sales, easy, not including the VIP or any of the signing packages and things people prepaid.
That's your pump and dump right there.
Yep.
We're in the wrong business, guys.
Right?
Okay, we're gonna start a Comic-Con and just fuck it up royally and then keep all the money. It's gonna be awesome.
You're supposed to not say that in advance.
Yeah, you just blew it, Dino.
Damn it.
Yeah, you're out of the group, Dino. Sorry.
The better plan would have been to announce it, do it, and when it went wrong, it was Paul.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody would have questioned it. Paul just stepped in and fuck, it just happened.
We gotta make Paul the fall man since he's not here.
He's the patsy.
He's a patsy. So Teen Titans, Tegan Croft cast as Raven. This is big news for Z. Big news.
And I'm not familiar with the actress, but it's exciting that it's finally going.
Live action series, man. It's gonna be crazy.
But it's on what is it? The WB streaming channel, which doesn't even exist yet.
Yeah, well.
So I don't even know where that's going to broadcast, but I guess they're putting money into content. I'm sure they're going to put all the all the CW type shows and all their other stuff. So they've got a lot of rights, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean they got 4 months to a year to premiere it. It says 2018. So
That sounds like something Valiant would do. Oh yeah, here's this website that's going to have our fake trailer.
It's not a web series though. It's like they're starting their own streaming service.
yeah, it's a direct to consumer digital service. It's supposed to be slated in 2018, and we'll see what happens.
I think it just depends what kind of content. You got to think. It depends what they have rights to, what they don't.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume they have rights to some version of their TV shows that they can stream. You know, all the Arrow and all that. They've probably got some rights to some of their older stuff that you haven't seen in forever. You know, maybe like the '80s Flash.
What about the cartoons? The cartoons wasn't some of the WB stuff on cartoons too?
Yeah, and it's got all that cartoons. It's not just DC. It's Warner Brothers. So there's a pretty big, whatever they have that's not currently licensed elsewhere. They've probably got a pretty big library of shit. It could be okay.
Is this Tegan Croft? Is she like older teen, or is she like young teen? I mean, what are they? Who are they?
Young. It looked like she was maybe in that 16 range.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to think of the demographic.
She looked younger. It looked like they were going to play him as a younger crowd.
Okay. Which, speaking of Raven, did anybody ever read that Raven miniseries, that 6-issue miniseries?
The new one or the old one?
The new one.
No, I meant to. I probably just need to pick up the trade.
Yeah, it was good.
I have a feeling they're kind of aiming for the age that you see them in the DC animated universe, where they're that 15 to 17 age, not older.
That's what it looks like to me too.
I mean, my guess is Nightwing is going to be older, or Robin, but Beast Boy will be young, Raven will be young. Starfire probably will not be young. Just a guess.
Oh, she's 13 too.
Whoa, she's real young.
Yeah. So
I'll put her around 15 by the time they're actually going.
Probably.
Yeah, they can't do Starfire younger. That'd just be wrong.
Correct.
She's got to be about 20.
Correct.
Otherwise, I probably just can't watch.
Right.
What else we got next? So we got Ian McShane cast in the Hellboy reboot, which is going to be cool, I think. I mean, Hellboy
have they said what he's doing?
I don't
or
think
just
so.
That he's cast?
No, he's just cast. Nothing on what he's doing or what he's playing. So
is that the guy from Deadwood?
Yeah, Swearingen.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best villains. Well, I mean, I don't know if he's a villain or not, but one of the best bad guys.
Yep, he was in John Wick too. Also,
that was a great movie.
Great movie. He stars in American Gods right now too. So
that show is too weird for me.
I can't do it either.
I couldn't get past episode 4 with the two dudes.
Yeah,
that was just a little too weird.
I've been seeing chatter that they're really pushing that Deadwood movie.
They
were trying to do an actual movie to kind of tie things up.
Isn't it too far gone though to get that done?
I don't know. It's been hit and miss, and I think pretty recently, I think with all this American God stuff, I've seen that it's kind of back on.
Because then they ended that one because of budget, and then because like the creator wanted to do that stupid ass John in Cincinnati or whatever show.
Yeah, don't get Trey started.
I
I would have killed for one more season of Deadwood because that was unbelievable.
I'm gonna say I found. I guess he's gonna play Hellboy's adopted father, Professor Trevor Broom.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
So what is it going to be, like a prequel then?
No, he was the guy. I mean, he was in. It's a new reboot. It's not a prequel or a sequel. It's just a new telling. So he'll he wasn't even actually in the first Hellboy very long. He died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he probably may not have a huge part, but I guess they could tell a younger version too. So who knows?
So we have pickup conversation. So the Unpressable Defect boys were talking about this, and I thought this would be a good thing. They're talking about books. They talked about underrated books, overrated books, favorite covers and stuff. So we're going to go with underrated books that are your favorite. An underrated book that's your favorite. So.
Shit, I forgot to think about this.
You had 2 hours with Wood, so. Let's see.
Here, I'll throw one out. I got a couple that I thought about, and I don't own either one of them, but I think they're probably a little underrated. First appearance of Huntress is Huntress #1 from like 87 or 88 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like $1 book, but
that's a Huntress, not the Huntress.
Well, it's the current Huntress.
Okay, I was gonna say because the Huntress isn't she like a Justice League All Stars or something, right around Power Girl?
I don't know about that, but what is her last name? Bertini or whatever it is, whoever the current one is.
Okay.
It's like $1 book. Yeah, so man, I don't know. I mean, anything from the late '80s is probably way overprinted, but obviously if there's other books from the late '80s that are in early '90s, these bronze books and stuff that are moving in price right now, I don't see there's any reason that she couldn't see an increase, especially from $1.
Well, I think a whole kind of cluster of books that are really down. I mean, they were up kind of about 4 or 5 years ago when I got in, and they really have slowed down. Are those kind of last wave 76 to 78 DC #1s? Because I was looking to list some, and like I didn't even barely bother, like Firestorm, Demon, Ragman. I think there's one other one kind of in that cluster, and I can't think of what it is, but there was that wave of 4 or 5 new superheroes, and for a bit they were kind of doing money, and now I think so many of them got kind of dug out of dealer stock and things that they're just flooded, but they seem really cheap right now.
I guess I would go with X-Men '94 probably, because I remember when I got in, that book was flying. Now it's like,
it's funny you bring. I was scanning a book today. I think it was a Transformers #1,
mm-hmm.
and there's a Mile High insert in there, like in the centerfold, like of all books you can order, and the most expensive book was X-Men '94.
Really?
On the whole list.
That one's been falling. I mean, I remember even 5 years ago, I was at an auction. I bought my giant size X-Men there, and people paid the same amount for that as the giant size X-Men. And now I feel like it's down, probably 40% from.
Yeah, I think people would rather have giant size X-Men than that book.
I think the cover doesn't help it.
Yeah, the cover's a little weird.
Yeah,
get that dude's face on it.
I think it's probably, we're seeing a little bit of the slabbing. People want the cover and they don't care as much about the actual story. They want the image. Giant size X-Men's on T-shirts, lunchboxes, everything else.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's a more iconic book too.
It was one of the first ones I wanted to get when I kind of got back in. It was like that was my grail for a few years, and then I got it, and now I've sold it, and now I probably need another one. But
I mean, it's a good book to have. It's very liquid, very easy to sell.
I might have traded it for a Crime and Suspense 22, so I don't feel bad.
It's not a bad one.
Anybody else got any underrated books?
I got a couple. Well,
Okay.
when I say a couple, it was for me. I might be because I just love the story, but the Batman Year 2 story, Detective Comics number 575 through 578, especially
Yeah.
576, 77, 78. They all have covers by Todd McFarlane, pencils by McFarlane. I mean, great story. You don't hear too much about McFarlane with that detective. I mean, unless you're aware of it. Everyone's always mentioning the Spider-Man 300, but to me, I just think it's undervalued.
Are those the red kind of backgrounds?
Right.
Yeah, reddish orange.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Those. I mean, those will hit a little heat, but not much. You're right.
Yeah, it's like 40. You can get $40 for a set.
Right.
Yeah.
Another, I was gonna say another book that I thought about was, and you know, she's not like a big character. I always think these women are unfortunately are usually the drivers behind some of these increases or whatever. But the first appearance of Big Barda, it's like it was Mr. Miracle number 4. Again, not an expensive book at all, but you know, she doesn't get used very often now, but she does pop up here, you know, here and there. But if they ever use it for anything, you know, I mean, it's not like that's a book that most people are out there looking for, but that could definitely, if she got any mention at any time, that could pop up.
I check for it, but man, I never find that one.
Yeah, it's cheap. I mean, considering, you know, the time it was what that was early 70s, right? Something like that.
I mean, look at Steppenwolf, and he's a lame ass character.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, that's another one I was thinking about.
I'm going to kick out a book that, you know, I've probably talked about several times, but I still think it makes no sense how cheap it is relative to the other. Is Caliber Presents One. First Appearance of the Crow is still a decent chunk less than the Crow number 1 in most grades, and it boggles my mind.
Why do you think that is? Maybe the cover?
It's definitely the cover.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, the back cover is still got the thing in it. We should maybe talk to CGC into slapping them backwards.
What's the back of?
It's got the Crow image on it.
Is it the same one that's on?
You know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not. Maybe I am on crack. Maybe I'm thinking Dead World.
Yeah, Dead World. It's got the.
Maybe it's not on the back, but I thought it was.
Which Dead World? That front cover is awesome.
That is a good one. Well, there's 2 versions.
Well, yeah, but the one with the was it the A? Is it the A cover? That's it's got the skeleton with the earrings and the flat top or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I was right. It's got the Crow image on the back, but it's not as good image as Dead World 10. Nor Crow 1. It's got an image, but it's not as good. So maybe.
So you think that Dead World 10 is undervalued too? Then.
That's tough. I mean, I don't know. It's just it's an image. It's like a preview to me, and I don't chase the previews much.
Yeah, it's definitely a niche market.
But I mean, look at Malibu Sun 13 has really been going gangbusters lately. So I don't think the Crow will ever be spawned. Let's be honest, but it's a hell of a lot harder to find.
Cool. Yeah, Brian, you got any more?
No, I mean, if I thought about it, yeah, but
there's not a lot that's undervalued right now. I think that the market is so up on a lot of books that there's not a lot of gems left.
No,
a
I think it's just things people have forgotten about.
Yeah.
It's like Coy says, there's so much people are chasing that people chase what they saw on Facebook last week, or they saw on Google Plus or wherever they saw it. And everybody's on that new news, but nobody's got a plan of like all those random other things that they're not thinking about.
Yeah, I think Coy's right on with Monstrous, though. I think that's got a lot of potential.
I don't know. Don't get me started.
Well, what do you got, Z?
Well, I mean, listen, I like books like Saga. I like the idea of Monstrous. The whole amount of money being thrown at brand new books on a weekly basis boggles my mind. Like all these people dropping $20, $30 on the new store variants or the new hot indie book or whatever it is, times several hundred people. Think what that would be if they were like focused on the shit that was worth a damn. It just feels like there's so much that people have put stock in that scares the Jesus out of me. I'm not saying Saga is a bad investment. I'm just saying the numbers it's at now, they're getting to a scary point for me. I would sell at the current prices in a heartbeat and not think about it.
Yeah, I mean, people keep throwing this, if this thing ever gets made into a show, but really, or movie or anything like that. But really, if you look at comics that were made into movies or TV shows, other than pretty much The Walking Dead, unless it's solid DC or Marvel characters, indies just don't. I mean, look at there's been a lot of really good comic book movies, especially from like some of these, low print things, and they're not worth hardly anything.
Yeah, but you know what the thing is?
Men in Black is not worth. That was a great movie series, and I mean, how much are those books worth? I mean, they're worth hardly anything.
I sold a mid-grade for $25.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, Images. Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's not complete indie, but it really is. And I don't know if a movie or TV show is going to make those books increase like they would if they were a Marvel or DC, major character.
And I'm not sure that a movie would do that book justice, where The Walking Dead is a solid book. The TV show is actually better than the comic, probably. I think people have a hard time arguing not. Yes, some seasons suck, some don't, but the initial idea and the initial take on it just hit right.
But I mean, the main thing you need to realize is you don't even need the show to ever be made. Just one announcement will bump that book up, and you get out.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go back to the ASM 300 because fuck, we obviously don't know shit other than Regan.
that used to be my
$2,000 book.
That used to be my cheap book, my undervalued one. Not anymore.
So you could be right. It just feels like that Saga has continually been increasing, and I feel like people are continually just pre-buying that news.
Yeah, I mean, Saga's probably never going to get made.
It's got to be something that's sitting to me.
But all you need is a rumor. I mean, that's really all it takes right now is one rumor, one little thing.
To me,
BKV just has to meet with some studio exec that could be about a different project, and people are going to be like, "Saga's getting made."
To me, though, like versus putting $450 on a Saga one, I'd go buy a mix of 10 of East of West, Manifest Destiny, and Sex Criminals or something.
Yeah.
To me, they're just, and those three are probably a hell of a lot more likely to be made, but not as
Yeah,
that's good.
I love East of West and Manifest. I think they're both great picks.
And I haven't heard shit about either one of them in ages.
No, East of West, the story is amazing. It's probably one of my favorite.
So I don't know. The market is a strange market, and I don't understand it, and it scares the shit out of me, and I'm in it. I think that should probably be just the mantra for all of us. Don't assume you understand the fucking market.
Yep, get in and get out if you can.
That's right.
But somebody is spending. I mean, none of us are probably spending, that $450, $500 on Saga ones.
Mhm.
But somebody, I mean, who is? Somebody is buying those. I just want to know who these people are, because I have no idea who they actually are. We would like to have one, but we're not. None of us are going to spend $500 on it.
No, I throw $5-10 on Raz's hoping to win one. I probably should have bought one by now, but
But I mean, but who is actually buying them? So I mean, I just want to know. I want to know who is actually purchasing these books at that top dollar.
well, either somebody that is smarter than us or dumber.
Correct. Because I wouldn't even top dollar like that. I wouldn't. I've had multiple Saga ones, and I've I don't know. I've got mine for relatively cheaper for raws, and I slabbed them, or I got them even slabbed for cheap. I don't know. That's a good question.
I think that book though, like if you look at it, I bet if you mapped a Dino, it would have pretty year after year growth. Wouldn't be maybe a straight line, because I'm sure there's been some peaks, but it is not plateaued at any time for more than a few months here and there. It has just been going.
It's got a rabid fan base.
It does. It's just when you see that curve, it's hard to think it's going to double or triple. You don't have to double or triple, because hell, maybe it is. Just the stock market. It's going to get 12-15%.
You ready? You ready, Z? So 2012 it was 140. This is 9/8, number one. 2013 was 300. 2014 was 300. 2015 was 450. 2016 was 500. 2017 was 518.
So it's slowed a bit.
Yeah, but it's like you said, it hasn't really plateaued. It's slowed, but it's growing though. It's like a slow growth. But it's.
Here's one thing that you got to really look at is, what is this? January this year, Saga 41, print run of 43,837. So it's still selling 43,000 copies of the current issue.
Yeah, but my guess is 40,000 of those people aren't dropping $400 on the first one, because a lot of these people that read just religiously, they're these guys that spend $300 a month at the comic shop on new books.
Correct. And
some of the guys, the guys who are looking for investments are saying that, there's a strong following for this book. Maybe I'll take a shot at it.
Well, and the guys in the chat are saying that there's a big female following for Saga. So, who knows? Maybe girls are getting into it.
I think it's one book that's not artificially inflated.
I don't think it's artificially inflated. I'm just saying, and I still don't buy that females buy high dollar comic books like men. They're just not the same kind of. They don't spend their money the same way on average. Not to say across the board, but women are either at an age where they value, family type stuff more.
They like Skyrim baby variants. Or
they spend it on clothes, shoes, something else. They aren't the same type of hoarders as men are on our collections, whether, we do cars, comics, baseball cards.
I'm sure there's some. I'm sure there's a good amount.
I just don't think there's a 10,000 women like that. I'd be willing to bet of the Saga 1 9/8s out there in collections for investment purposes, not some girl that stumbled upon one. 98% male.
There's a lot of them too, isn't there? There's a lot of 9/8s.
I think there's probably like 2,000, maybe.
Yeah,
15.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger number than I thought it would be.
Yeah, a lot of people slabbed the book.
Yeah, I remember seeing images of a guy with 40 of them in a box tonight.
No, but just comparatively to other books that have risen up to that, that are within the last 5-10 years that have risen up to that $500 plus mark. 2,000 is a lot. That's a huge number compared to what all these other books that have risen up to 500 plus are at.
Saga
2,000 is.
Saga really kind of hit that early part of the speculator market too. the grading, speculator, 9/8. It really is a book right in that right time period to be the perfect storm of all those graded copies.
Yeah, I tend to lean with Z on being a little, skeptical of it. I think it's a bizarre story anyway.
I don't think it's a dangerous book. I mean, if you pay $4.50, I don't think you're ever going to lose money on it. I just don't know that you're going to, I have a hard
I think it's
going to be
safe
a
to say
$900 book.
I think it's safe to say it's a modern blue chip.
I will give you that. It's not a speculator book at this point, at this price to me.
Yeah. No,
it is, I'm going to put my money in a mutual fund and I'm going to get 10 to 15% a year.
It beat the hater wave and the undercutter, man.
Shit.
I'm not sure if there was ever an undercutter wave on this book.
Nah.
Yeah, Chris Hellier just said on the chat that he did sell a 9/8 to a female a couple weeks ago.
I wanted to ask, is it an actual female or just the eBay said it was a female? Because I have learned there's a lot of guys with their wife's name on eBay, this one included.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stephanie's always sending me money.
That fucking bitch buys a lot of comics.
The world's greatest comic fucking collector right there. I don't know why she loves a lot of Golden Age books and westerns and double clown covers.
Double clown covers.
Tried to send the double clown cover to Trey, but he said it shouldn't be pressed.
So let's see. Oh, breaking news! I heard this, I guess, today. So Guardians 3 is going to be the last with the current lineup, according to James Gunn, aka the director. So
I saw that, and
yeah.
I don't know if you sent it or probably yes, but
yeah,
everybody's like assuming it's going to change to like the Ravengers and Stallone and all that. I'm like, I don't know if that's as likely as they may just change out a couple characters.
I mean, are they going to do a Guardians 4?
Maybe they trade in Adam Warlock for somebody. Maybe they trade. I
don't see how you can lose those characters and still have the Guardian. Like it can't be the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I would assume you're going to have to keep Star-Lord.
Yeah,
and you can probably keep Groot and
Bautista.
You can probably keep Groot and Rocket for minimal because they're just voices, and you could recast Groot. Let's be honest.
But do they reboot it? I guess.
I hope they don't reboot it.
I don't know. I just think they'll tweak the cast, honestly.
Yeah, I think
will show up.
I mean, it's not much different than what they can kind of do with the Suicide Squad, where it's kind of a fluid, it's a fluid group of characters. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're never not. As much money as they're making off of them, I can't see that they would stop making Guardians movies until it stops making money.
Yeah, well, you don't have one with Star-Lord, Groot, Rocket, and
Gamora.
The fuck is Drax?
Oh, Drax.
I think you're gonna lose money.
Of course, we thought they were going to lose money when they cast them to start with, too. So
yeah. But I mean, now people have expectations of that. When you don't deliver to their expectations, I think you're doomed.
Well, I think they're probably fighting the same thing they did everybody else. 3 movie deals or 6 movie deals, and the contracts just get too big. Robert Downey probably made an ungodly amount of money for 8 minutes in Homecoming.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. Yeah, we'll see. It'll be an interesting approach how it all happens. I mean, it's all speculation. So, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, everybody's rolling towards Avengers 4 in 2019. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting. That might be
I just really can't see them doing a Guardians 4. Like, do we really need a 4th one?
I think Marvel's just backing up the money train and
just keep throwing shit on the wall and we'll see what sticks.
I mean, do we need a Fast and Furious 12? I mean,
apparently we did.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that like that shit.
I'd rather see a Guardians 4 than a Black Panther 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. Black Panther might be pretty good.
I just watched. He was in A Messenger for the King on Netflix, or Message for King or something. It was. He wasn't bad. He was playing like another South African guy, but it was decent, I thought. So, I posted this on there. I don't know how this is gonna go translate over the podcast, but I watched this YouTube on Batman Beyond the movie that didn't happen. I don't know if anybody else watched it, but it's really good. I'll send the link out right now. But it's about, I think it's like 13 minutes or something. It's basically how they almost ended up with Batman Beyond the movie before Nolan took it over. So it was a very interesting watch, I guess. So that's one of mine.
So that was going to be out before the Nolan's trilogy?
Yep.
Was it live action or animated?
It was going to be live action, actually. Yeah. They said that they were going to bring people from like the older Batman movies, like the Michael Keaton era. They had they almost said that maybe Michael Keaton would have been old man Wayne in Batman Beyond, but I mean that was pure speculation as well. But it's only 3 minutes long to the video, but it's a good video. It just, the director wasn't into it, I guess. So he says the best script he ever wrote that never got made. So
might be better off.
Yeah. I mean, Nolan's movies, I mean, it's not like Nolan's movies were garbage. So I mean, it probably, you know, one of those space-time continuum things. I mean, it's probably the best thing that ever happened. So that it didn't get made. But
yeah, I think we're better off with the Nolan Batman.
I mean, it would be cool to see a Batman Beyond movie, though. I was a huge fan of the actual cartoon. So
the cartoon was good.
Yeah.
Well, let's let Affleck do his 3 movies and then do one at the end.
Yeah. I mean, it was a little dark, the cartoon. I mean, especially at the one where with the shooter in school. That was a pretty crazy episode, but that's I just saw that. I posted. I'll post it on the FlipSide G+ page too, so anybody can watch it or look at it.
There's a good video about the Superman that was never made. The one
with,
that
Nicolas Cage?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
post that up on the G+ page. I don't mind.
Yeah, that one was a good one too. I've watched that probably twice now, just because it's just randomly on in the middle of the night. You're like, all right.
Nick Cage is Superman?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Written by Kevin Smith. Yeah.
Was this like the height of Nick Cage?
Yeah, it was like in that time. It was the late 90s.
Yeah, it was definitely around Con Air.
It was supposed to be like Superman Back from the Dead, which I think kind of they turned a version of that Brandon Roth eventually morphed into, trying to avoid a new origin.
And maybe I know we talked about Titans earlier. Maybe Batman Beyond gets a reboot on the old digital to direct the thing WB's working on.
Oh, that would be good.
So one of the last things is the Crow trade paperback for the reading list. Mr. John Z is super stoked for this.
Hey, it wasn't just me, man. This was everybody.
He's only stoked because now he knows he doesn't have to read anything.
I know.
He knows it by heart.
And you know, it's funny. This one I don't have to read on my goddamn iPad or tablet. I actually have the actual physical.
Well, and
book.
don't cheat and watch the movie because it's not the same. If you want to do both, then that's extra credit, but it's not the same reading.
So I've already watched the movie. Is that a bad way to do it? Having watched the movie and then read it?
No, that's fine. I don't think I read it until after I'd seen the movie quite a few times. I'm just saying it's not. You can't watch the movie and get the same vibe as the book.
So let's not tell Paul that. Since Paul's not here, let's tell him to watch the movie so it can be a problem.
Well,
yeah, we'll all talk about the reading.
There's a guy named Brandon Lee. He just came out of the store.
And this was not me picking it. I just said we wanted to do something indie, and it got the most votes. So.
Yeah. You had no influence at all on it.
Yeah.
No. I was saying we could do Invincible, but
Z was pulling the strings behind the scenes.
I threw some $5 bills at some people.
I think he was hacking a voting machine. I think it was.
Yep, he definitely hacked the voting machine.
Yeah.
Are the newer issues like the IDW Crow books? Are they even any good? Z?
I don't read them. I don't know. I don't read anything past the original one, and maybe I read like one other run. I don't know. I like the original. I think it's a great story. I get that it's a character that kind of can move on, but I just don't choose to tarnish my image of it.
Cool. So that we'll post that on the FlipSide page too, so everybody can read it if they want to read it, and they can all 15 people watching right now.
Did we hit 15?
I think we hit 16 at one point.
Yeah, we were at 16.
Well, hell, that's a new record, guys.
We're rolling.
But does that count the 5 of us?
Well, it's probably better than last week, and there's usually 6 of us. So
correct. I got some big news maybe after the podcast. I'll do off air. But so the last thing we're going to talk about, I've saved my dollar bills for this. We're going to give away a video game. It's going to be pretty cool. I think we talked about it before the podcast, and we're going to do people who leave reviews on Apple for our podcast.
On iTunes?
Yep, on iTunes. I'm gonna say this episode. We'll put them all in a random name generator, and we're doing a raffle, and whoever wins, they'll get a video game of their choosing. I'm gonna say PS4 and I guess Xbox One. If you don't have it, it's somebody who doesn't win it. I mean, say a PlayStation 3 or something. I will pony up and get you a PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 game or something of that nature. So that is, you got to leave a review, not a comment. A review, not a comment. So
if they want the that Bob Ross PS4 game that Paul found,
was that real?
No, that wasn't real.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I guess I should. Thanks, Ben. It's a $60 game or $50 game or whatever the new games cost nowadays. So not
60 in tax.
Yeah, 60 in tax, and not like the ultimate edition of something that costs $300.
You don't want the box version.
Yeah, Jesus. So
what's I want the Uncharted Gold PS4 edition.
So
Destiny 2 is getting ready to come out.
Yeah. There you go. Destiny 2. The new what's that new fighting game? The DC fighting game.
Injustice
is out. I mean, there's good games out. I mean,
I'm pretty excited for the new Call of Duty in November.
Oh God.
Going back to World War II.
I don't mind that. I just mind everybody banging my mom. So it's just when everybody kills me and said they bang my mom, it's just
13-year-olds.
Yeah, dude. You know what? You just can't play like right after school. I learned like from like 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock is like the murder time.
You know what I used to tell people? Scott used to tell kids like, "Hey, isn't time past your bedtime? I think your mom's calling you."
Because I mean, I would play Call of Duty and like it'd be like a day that I stayed home. I was sick or something. I'd be like, "Man, I'm really good at this game." And then 3 or 4 rolls around, I'm like, I don't want to play this game anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then they talk so much shit. And you're like, I will kill you.
I will kill you, yes. That's good stuff. So that's what it is. Apple, I'm doing iTunes reviews, and we'll throw the old names, and we'll do it on, I think I'll try to do it on the FlipSide page.
G+, yeah.
G+. That's all I have. Anybody else got any closing comments? Talk about some things, anything?
Hey, I will say.
Oh, go ahead, Brian.
Simple Man's Comics, my YouTube channel, broke 600 subscribers today, and I'm pretty cool.
Nice.
Awesome. I'm pretty stoked
Congrats.
about that.
We're trying to break.
To hit 1,000.
That's more than double what we have on the flip side.
So also, yeah, Scott Reagan made me some awesome T-shirts. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with them yet, whether I'm going to sell them on the website or, give them out, or like I said I got them when I was back from Vegas, and I haven't really had time to do much of anything yet.
Hey,
Still-
upcharge them. Just put them on the website for like $800 a piece.
Yeah, first limited edition.
Yeah,
right. We can do variants.
Yeah.
We'll do virgin variants, and we'll just sell a blank T-shirt.
Yeah, I don't know if I did get a chance to thank you, Scott, but those shirts are awesome. I appreciate it. I did
you're
sell a
welcome,
couple
man.
to a coworker, so
Nice.
You know, I got a funny story about that. One of my guys I know, he owns a business and he bought pens, like pens with his name and his company on it, like everybody else does. He said it's the unlimited edition. A bunch of them. So it's good stuff.
Hey, I was gonna say, or I was gonna mention. I know Trey's mentioned it a couple times on the UD podcast, but we've been working on an article for the website about those DCU variants, and I'm telling you, if you have ever seen them or anything, I'm just telling you, some of these are extremely difficult to find. If you find them, I would highly suggest just picking pretty much, almost any of them up, but there's a bigger group of people that collect them than I think probably most people realize. And once you start buying them, one, they're hard to look for because most of those logos are like down in the box. You almost have to either have some space to where you can see down towards the UPC code, or actually you sit there and pull each book out, and the numbers are random. Which books have those logos are completely random, but it's pretty fun trying to find these things. I'm serious.
How many in total do you think there are?
There are over 500.
Holy shit!
Yeah, there is. It's a big list, but there are some that are seriously. I'm not sure that some of them actually exist, other than you've seen one picture somewhere. But yeah, some of them are really, really hard to find. Apparently, I found one that Trey had been looking for years. I didn't even realize it.
Did you find his action comic?
The one with Supergirl on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
I've been hunting that one for him forever.
I didn't even realize that he was looking for it, and he mentioned it, and I showed him the picture, and he was like, "Yeah, somebody found one. It's like probably like a 4 or something like that." And mine's like near mint. He was like, "Oh, that might be the nicest one in the world." But I'm telling you, look for those things. They are absolutely, some of them are absolutely impossible to find.
And that's a good point too. Is that probably grade wise? It's even if it's beat up, it's probably worth grabbing.
Oh yeah.
I sent Trey one that just had a random Azrael appearance. He's like, well, "I'll take it, even if it's got a dung upside."
Oh, even the ones that we found, like pictures and stuff that, just because I think a lot of these people are just trying to find them all, and they'll pretty much take, things. They're comics from the 90s, and they're probably in like 3.0 shape. They're terrible. Rips in the cover. They don't care. They want them. They want them anyway. I would just be on the lookout for them. It is fun to find them though.
Are any of them going for big bucks right now?
The only ones that are really have been a premium was that Man of Steel 18 had its day at the 5th print.
Okay.
Yeah, the Man of Steel, and once we actually put the article out, we're trying to gather all the information, but some of them they have no sales zero, because I'm not sure that you even I don't know if anybody even knows that they have them.
Yeah, they don't list them that way. I would bet
No,
most of them aren't listed the way that you would expect them.
Especially, I would assume that most of those books are pretty common. Not the DC variants, but the regular ones are pretty common, and I'm sure it's overlooked a lot.
A lot of them are. There's some titles in there that I didn't even know there was a comic book for some of the titles though. So that I don't know who would have ever bought them to start with, but it's fun. It really is. Hopefully when the article comes out, everybody else will kind of like, oh, that's pretty interesting. Interesting topic.
There'll be ghosts. Man. once that article hits the website, you better start looking now, because
How many have you found in the wild?
I actually over the weekend or Friday, I stopped someplace just at random and went through about 50 long boxes, and I was able to find like 20.
Wow.
that's a good haul.
Yeah, it was pretty good. That was a lot for one particular, but basically now they have none because I bought every single one they had. But really, when you think about it, most of these things were not direct sales related, so most shops are not going to have them. They were sold in packs at Toys R Us and Walmart and Kmart and stuff like that. So you're not going to find them at many stores.
You're better off at like a half price books, like a reseller.
Right. Yeah.
It was all the 90s, like early 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all came out like when like Nightfall came out is when they kind of started.
Was that like 92?
And the Doomsday. Those are some of the first ones.
Okay.
And then they kind of ran through like the mid 90s, something like that. But they're real random. I mean, like it could be like 12 issues in a row, and then it'll skip 3 issues and then go back to 15 issues in a row. It's real. It makes no sense why they did what they did, but yeah. Anyway, I just want to throw that out there because it has been fun actually trying to find these things.
Oh, good stuff. I can't wait for that article. It's going to be awesome. I know the work you guys do on it, so it's going to be...
You know what I think the best part is? It makes those books that, nobody would look for. Now you have to, when you go to a shop, you have to look through those books to see if they're there. Like you probably wouldn't check Man of Steel. Or
absolutely.
League,
Yeah, I mean, the mid '90s is, early mid '90s is kind of when I started collecting. So a lot of these, I'm seeing these stories that I saw, 25 years ago. I'm like, oh, I remember that. I remember that stories. I remember seeing those then, and actually, they actually might. Some of them have collectability.
And what's funny is Christopher on the YouTube chat said Walker's going to post all of them in a week.
Yeah, Mascaloni there posted there are some Wonder Woman ones, Bolin ones. I have seen the one where that's that Jokerized Wonder Woman pop up a few times.
Oh wow, I like that cover. What's that, like 77 or 78, somewhere around there?
Man,
There
72 was one.
There's a list there, Ben. I don't know if you guys are using that list. I just saw that. I found that list. I don't know if you guys are using that list or not. Seems like a bunch of them.
Well, yeah. I mean, we basically did a lot of search or a lot of gathering on multiple different places, but actually our list is actually going to be better than everybody else's because ours will have pictures for everyone that we can.
Oh, nice.
We can locate photos for. So we've actually, I think I'm of the 500 and some. I think I'm still short about probably 75 pictures they're just nowhere to be found. So. But yeah, we've got pictures, so that's going to make our list a little bit better than everybody else.
If you want to send me that list, I can do some digging too.
Yeah. Okay.
So, no, good. I think this is a good one, boys. Anybody got anything else?
No,
I know Z has to leave at midnight, so
yeah, he's going to watch the West Coast Game of Thrones. He got screwed out of the East Coast feed.
Is your DVR plugged in?
It's fixed now because we're broadcasting. Yeah. Damn kids.
Okay. All right, boys. I want to thank everybody for coming out and doing things. So.
Well, hey, everybody on the YouTube chat, thanks for listening. We appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Don't forget to leave your reviews.
Yes, reviews.
For the giveaway.
Reviews.
Exactly.
All right, boys.
Thanks, guys. Sounds good. Thanks a lot.